Well, baby, you've been on my mind. I think about you all the time. Oh, I want to see your face.
So we're good?
Awesome.
All right. Hi, Brandon.
Hey, Matthew.
How are you?
Welcome back.
To our second episode at the new location.
Feels like we were just here.
It does. I will tell you something, though. Dan and I came over and did some recon work and was kind of testing some things out. And it seems like everything Dan asked for, they took care of.
Really?
So from the shades to setup, this whole area, which Dan will shoot, I'm sure, show you. We're literally in a lobby.
In the lobby.
Of the AC Hotel, Hill Country.
Yep.
Here in beautiful Austin. And so what will happen on some of our podcasts during the nighttime and stuff, there's going to be people.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like a live audience feel.
It's going to distract the fuck out of me.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So you're OCD or just
like
on the spectrum?
Sounds, words, lights,
Okay.
you know. No. It's
Dude, I think you're doing great.
I get distracted so easy.
I think you're doing great.
Yeah, like there was the janitor over there banging the mop against the
So nowadays, I don't think we use the word janitor. I think that's like,
what do we call
what
it?
I don't know. I think
An
that's
environmental engineer.
There you go.
The environmental engineer over there
Smoking from our guest.
about got the mop shoved up his ass.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, that's
intense.
violence.
Ooh. I thought I was doing Sober October.
Me too.
We're
Okay,
just-
I can tell you're on something over there.
Anyway.
He's starting
but
the morning with
good
violence.
news is that after our shots today, you're going to have a nice tan.
Because you got the-
So for people who are listening, Brandon has a humongous light on him because he's so dark.
Bring it out. No, but this has been good. So AC Hotel, South Austin, Hill Country.
Yep, our biggest partner.
They've been a great partner. We got musicians that are playing here now. So a lot of our
Nice.
guests that are coming in, our musician guests are coming in. They're playing upstairs at the Violet Sky.
Or down here. at
Rooms are
some
comfortable.
events.
Beds. How's the bed?
Unbelievable. And I will say, this is announced just yesterday. So for election night, which is November 8th, an amazing artist that I've been trying to get on the podcast, Katie, she's actually kind of a
Two
big
Katies.
deal. Katie will actually be playing for that event. So so we partner up, and future podcasts that we have, you'll see the guests that will then be
Awesome.
able to be showcased here. So
Nice.
beautiful Austin, South Austin, we're so blessed. And speaking of blessed, I want to introduce our guest. I met Angela. I met you at AADSM.
I believe so. Yes.
So Angela Haralson, I'm saying that
Correct.
correctly, right?
Yep.
So I met you at AADSM this last year and was immediately pulled towards her. She has a presence, and obviously I got to know her a little bit during the conference in her old role. She's got some new things that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
But we struck up a friendship. I think she has one of the most amazing minds when it comes to the dental medical aspects. So we'll dive into that. That'll get Brandon all geeked up. But also she's fun, and her Instagram is a hell of a follow. I love it. She is a hunter. She is a fisher woman. She is outdoors. She is just a Texas badass.
Yes.
So Angela,
Love it.
thank you for coming on our podcast
Thank
today.
you. That's an amazing introduction.
thank you.
I feel like I'm only 30% worthy of all of that praise.
No,
but-
you got to follow her, guys. I mean, literally, this woman knows how to handle a gun. She knows she does the grip and grin better than anybody, and actually does it.
Yeah.
I'm just a big fan of her and her husband. I think what they do, where they live in the Valley area.
Well, yeah. So I was asking her. I said, "What?"
Yeah.
She said, "I came up from the Valley." I said, "What took you to the Valley? Why'd you leave Austin for the Valley?" And she goes, "Well, hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been hunting
Yeah.
down there for a
Yeah.
while, and the ranch and the land,
And you can
know,
tell, I don't know if you guys could, the guys who are listening, she likes to work out a little bit. Just a little
little.
bit. She likes to work out just a little bit. So
what do you hunt? Or first
Uh-oh,
of all,
here we go.
Oh.
do you hunt or do you kill?
Well,
That's a
Because I
great
tease
first
Max.
question.
I would
So-
say sometimes I aim to please, but most of the time I aim to kill.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a
Nice.
good line.
Love it.
Right.
Because
That's a good line.
Max could take lessons from you. Do you give lessons?
I
Oh my
could, yeah. I'm
gosh.
actually
Yeah.
a hunter ed instructor.
Okay.
Yeah, and a certified master hunter.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. So we might need to connect you with Max. Do you ever do bow hunting?
That is the majority of what I do. I
Awesome.
very, very rarely will rifle hunt.
See, what you'll love about our podcast, and at first it used to frustrate me, now it's refreshing. Brandon comes in with new eyes, new ears. I mean, this is a new experience, so he's going to ask you some awesome questions.
Well,
I love
the thing
this.
about
I'm
it
kidding, I'm
is
kidding.
my partner Max, my life partner
Yes.
Yep.
and business partner,
He's the best.
is fantastic at being a businessman and this. But he goes
He's gonna kill you for
on an elk hunt every year, and about I want to say 10 years ago, he went on an elk hunt and he killed an elk, and he brought back copious amounts of meat. And did not fit all in his freezer, which meant my freezer got to have some of this elk meat. And I was like, this is fantastic. I love it.
What a
So I
great
was
relationship.
What a blessing.
a fan.
Yeah.
So every year, Max, when you need to go on your elk hunt, I'll cover for you in the clinic because I want that freezer full of meat.
Yes. Yes.
He hasn't shot anything or killed anything in the last 9 years. He just got back from Idaho or Wyoming or Idaho this year.
he did a
He
whole
gets a
drive
tag.
up.
He goes up. He literally disconnects. It's scary. He
Yep.
sends me a message on his
love
cell phone. It's like, hey, if you don't hear from me after a week, just make sure you take care of Jeannie and the kids.
Yeah. Here's my last
Yeah,
GPS location.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I'm just crossing the fingers that I'm going to get some elk meat. So how do we connect hunters?
Yes.
Let's just start here. How do we connect hunters with you?
With
Hunters
mentors?
like Max, with
Yeah.
mentors like you that can
Yeah.
teach them how to kill and not just hunt.
Not just hunt. So I want to give Max a little bit of slack because I know a lot of dudes who have been out there and they have hunted elk for 30 years and they have never taken an elk.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It
It's hard,
is
by the way,
a passion and it's a drive and it's pitting yourself against nature. It's not necessarily about the kill. It's about overcoming that obstacle.
And Brandon, it isn't just sitting in a blind like
No.
a
No.
deer. It's-
He is
yeah,
hiking.
yep.
He
Yeah.
he doesn't shower once maybe in a week. He,
Yeah.
Like he's camping out, hiking during the day, elevation
You gotta
changes.
be in
Like
some shape.
it's hardcore shit.
Yeah. Elk hunting is absolutely one of my favorite animals to hunt because they're so difficult and they live in hell. And
Yep.
you will chase elk
Yep.
13, 15, 20 miles a day. You're running up and down mountains. And in Texas, y'all don't have mountains, right?
No.
I came here from the West. I've hunted Idaho many times. You'll go from 5,000 foot to a 10,000 foot peak, back down and up in a couple of times a day.
Yeah.
So we have to give him a little bit of slack there. Timing is everything. If he's bow hunting, calling, you have got to be able to call that elk into you. You've got to be
Now,
able to
did he go with
mimic-
a guide?
He goes with a group. He's got a group. There's, I don't know, a handful of them.
Wait a second. Is this just an excuse for him just to get away and do whatever?
No,
Do we
he-
really know
Well,
if he
no,
was in
he-
Idaho?
he-
So actually,
loves-
that's what most hunting trips are.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if you bring something home, it's a bonus on top.
No. He loves this. Like he is like
Oh,
there's
yeah.
one thing every year. Like he starts planning for it. He prepares
It's
for
like
it.
my
he
trip
works
to
out
Key
for it.
West every
It's exactly like that, except he does a lot more preparation.
That's true.
Yes.
So what you're saying is, you really probably can't help him.
Well, if Max wants me to go to Idaho with him next year,
I
I'd
bet,
be more than
yeah.
happy to go to Idaho with him and help
Yeah.
him call and help him decoy.
How do you
and
call
learn how
an
to
elk?
set
Just
up.
Oh my
can you
gosh.
can you
Are we gonna do
demonstrate?
this?
So I actually have there are these little they're mouth calls, and you put them inside the.
I'm
Yeah,
so
and
glad
you
you
don't have one in your
asked because I
pocket?
have.
I
No, I'm kidding.
don't. I have them in my truck outside because
Okay.
I actually
That would
carry
be-
them around with me year round because I'm weird.
No, you're not.
But yeah, no, it's actually really fun when you're in the city to pull out your elk bugle and whoosh out the window, and people are just like,
Now do you?
But you can find out who knows what they're doing.
yeah.
So what's your favorite thing to hunt?
Um,
You hunt
know-
turkey too?
yes,
Okay.
love turkey.
Hold on.
Turkey
Brandon, you
is a
gotta
poor man's
understand.
elk.
She has pictures of. She's hunted everything and fished everything.
Yeah.
Except you,
But
I
that's
don't
why
know.
I'm asking what her favorite thing is to hunt.
I will say actually, and this is why I moved to South Texas. So not a lot of people know that you can hunt public land in Texas.
You can. It's very
There's over 2 million acres of public land here.
Yeah.
And I hunt public land almost exclusively. I always have. I'm very into conservation of our public land and public waters. And found this hunt for an exotic on a wildlife refuge that is down outside of Laguna Vista, Brownsville area, South Padre.
Yeah, we know it well.
And it's an animal called a nilgai. And they are an antelope.
Spell that.
Nilgai.
And you
Okay,
can hunt
nilgai.
that year round because it's an exotic, correct?
But not on a refuge. It's a draw.
Okay,
You actually
okay.
have to draw a tag. It's
Really?
fairly difficult.
Okay.
I've been fortunate enough to draw 5 of those tags here in Texas.
Wow.
Because I bow hunt, so the archery, you kind of
Yeah.
less people do it,
Yeah.
more opportunity. But it's an invasive species. It's an antelope from like India that is about the size of an elk.
So it almost looks like a red stag or a female red stag.
Well, almost.
Okay.
The bulls are like a really dark gray, almost blue color. They call them the blue bull or the blue ghost.
That was my nickname in college.
Yeah, and they have horns that are more like a goat. They're just kind of like
Oh,
tall
so they're
and
just like
sharp.
spiky.
Okay.
Yeah, and
What do they field dress?
about 800
So
pounds for a.
they're huge.
Yeah, for a bull, you're about 800 pounds. For
That's
a
big.
cow, 500-600 pounds.
That's big.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah.
They're big.
And they're only in South Texas.
Yes.
Okay.
And they are one of the most weary, hardest to hunt animals I've ever hunted in my
Something
entire
that big,
life.
you're like it would be just.
Yeah. No. The first year I came down here, I'd been out hunting elk for years, and I thought, oh, I'm going to teach these Texas boys a thing or two, right? Because they're telling you have to hunt out of stand, you have to do this. And I was like, I'm spot and stock hunter. That means I'd get out the binoculars, find it, and sneak up to it and get that shot.
Yeah.
The closest I could get to those nilgai was about 90 yards.
And they would.
And at that point, my accuracy with my bow, I was rock solid at 60. I'd have taken a shot at anything at 60 yards.
But anything after that.
But I didn't feel comfortable after that. So after that first year, I went home and I started shooting 110, 120 yards regularly. So, I want to make sure that I can hit a target,
They say note card. Right?
Yeah.
Like a note card. Size.
Yeah, yeah.
From
like
100 yards
a playing
away.
card. Yeah, from 100
With a
yards
crossbow.
away.
Not cross.
Just a regular compound
No,
bow.
Compound bow.
Yeah. And
You're
so
a badass.
No, you have no idea. No, you. That's what I'm saying.
I don't do social media, so I haven't seen any of your
No,
pictures,
but
to be
I'm
honest
glad.
with you.
No, because see, no one would know.
Yeah.
I'm glad I know because that's why she's my friend.
Yeah.
Like if something goes down, Angela's right here.
Okay, seriously, Max.
Yep. Whichever camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max. Maybe Max could practice on these Nilgai with you.
Well, Max would love to go down to the valley anyway.
Yeah, he
That's
would.
beautiful.
yes. Yeah.
So that's your favorite.
that is absolutely
Because of how
my
hard it
favorite,
is?
because of the
The
challenge.
challenge.
Yes, I'm very goal-oriented person.
Yeah.
Very task-oriented. I think that's why I do so well in operations. It's always the improvement, the next goal. I challenge myself every day.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to hunt, we hunt for meat. That's how we feed our family.
Mm-hmm.
We virtually buy nothing at the grocery store other than fish and chicken, poultry.
Mm-hmm.
I've been that way for many, many years. I actually grew up in a non-hunter household and an anti-hunter household.
Really?
Yes. So,
An anti-hunter household.
yep.
Well,
yeah.
Portland.
We're-
Did you grow up in Portland? Or?
No.
Okay.
I've lived everywhere.
They don't like guns in Portland.
Oh, they do. They love them.
Oh,
They
yeah.
love them.
The old Portland.
The old Portland.
Before it got
Yeah.
super crazy the past couple of years, but yeah. So I think that it's always about that challenge and being able to better myself every day.
Well,
And-
Angela, let's talk about operations. I think
Yeah,
besides
yeah.
being a badass hunter, which we know you are.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, you want
Oh,
to finish?
wait.
You been to the Devil's River?
In Idaho?
No.
Oh.
Down in South Texas.
No, not yet.
Yeah, you should go.
What's the Devil's River?
You been there?
No.
It's
Is that the
Devil's
Rio
River, right?
Grande?
No.
It's by the Frio?
No, it's down all the way South Texas.
Like
It's
Laredo?
like past Laredo, west towards I didn't get a map.
Yeah, pull it out.
This place is gorgeous. Now, if you go, be careful because it's a lot of. Can you hold this? to my mouth? Thank you. It's a lot of, let me look up here. Devils River, Texas. I don't know how to do that, man. Devils River in Texas, southwestern part of the Rio Grande drainage basin.
Yeah.
Sutton
I know where it
County.
is. Yeah.
And it's near Amistad. It's you've been to Amistad? Like,
No.
anyways, it's bringing up on Google Maps here. It is beautiful, and if you canoe, you can canoe down the Devil's River. And the reason I know this is because we were doing some training, and we were doing we decided we wanted to go down. So there's Lake Amistad, and this is out near, hold on, west of San Antonio. It's right on the border next to Del Rio, west
Okay.
of Del Rio. And it is it's one of those hidden spots of Texas that are just like super beautiful and super cool. And no, the water is so clear in this river, but it's bordered mostly by private land. And so, as soon as you step off the river's public land. As soon as you step off
Yes.
the river, you might want to be careful because
Right.
of Second Amendment rights.
Well, yeah. So we had a place down in Leakey for 16 years, and then through
It's
the
not as
Frio,
pretty
then
as the
I've been
Devil's River.
down- No, I'm not saying it is, but I'd heard it. So I thought I'd heard. So that's where the Frio empties out.
Yes.
So southwest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Del Rio. So check it out. And I
Definitely.
think you can fish on it. There's some fishing out there. And just in terms of you're South Texas already, so you might as well drive over there and check it out.
I can't believe you
Definitely.
didn't know.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting. Since we've been down there,
How long have you been down?
just about a year and a half.
Oh shit!
So not very long,
I
but
thought
I've
you
been,
were there.
No. So
Man, we got to catch up. All right.
so dang busy since we've been down there.
Yeah.
Really haven't had a lot of time to explore
So
and have fun.
let's tell a story real quick. So let's back way up. You said you moved. I caught this. You said you moved around quite a bit. So I don't
Yes.
want to get in too much personal detail. But where did you do high school? Where did you finish high school at?
Nevada.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a common theme with one of our guests. Okay. So you go to college where, or did you go to work?
Yep. University of Nevada.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you were that's UNLV, correct?
Nope, Wolfpack.
No,
The Wolf.
We're in
Pack.
northern Nevada.
That's what Gil Suarez is.
isn't
in
that
Nevada.
Jason Doucette and I were actually
Yeah.
in school at the same time.
Doucette,
At
but
UNLV.
also isn't that the
She'll know more than I will.
Kaepernick?
Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
No, was he Nevada? He was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So change that subject. Okay. So you go to college. What did you study in college?
Business.
So
Shocking, right?
No, because I know you. So let me get
Yeah.
this straight. So
Yeah.
graduate high school, Nevada. You go
Yeah.
straight into college. 4-year probably graduate, maybe less. What was your first job out of college then?
Actually, so it's you'll learn a little bit about me today.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So I graduated high school 2 years early
Okay.
and went straight into college.
So you're like 16, 17?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah, 16, right before I turned 17. And I was always this wild, independent kid. So I was afraid of taking out loans and doing things like that to pay for school. I didn't want to have debt. Debt to me was really evil as a
Right.
child. And
Right.
so I saw this ad in a newspaper, and it was this get rich quick, buy, sell real estate, buy foreclosures, take our course, it's $1,500. We're going to
Perfect.
make you a millionaire, right?
Right.
And I was like, well, I only have about $1,500. I'm not spending it on this course, but I'll figure out how to do this. It
Okay.
just struck that in me. So as a 17-year-old kid, 18-year-old kid, I started going, and back then we had newspapers. I'm really old.
I had newspapers. You're not that old.
And all of the foreclosure notices would be in your newspaper every week. So I started reading those, and I started showing up at the county courthouse steps, and I'd saved and gathered up all the money that I could, and I started to buy foreclosures. And I would rehab them. After school, I would do that work myself, and
Sell 'em.
I would sell them.
You were flipping before there was cool to be
Yeah,
flipping.
yeah, yeah. I've always been really industrious. Like I said, really goal oriented. I like to do things with my hands. Very physical. So I started flipping these houses, and pretty soon I'm making really good money. I'm making enough money that, you know, as a sophomore in college, I'm driving a Mercedes and I'm paying my tuition and living in a great neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, and I had my kids by then. So,
Oh, wow. So you had your kids
my
early.
oldest boys. And so I was able to take care of them and provide this really good life. But the realtors in the Reno area got word of this, and they got pissed.
Because you didn't have a license.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're like, you know, and then I'm bidding against these contractors on the courthouse steps. And, you know, they're like, oh, darling, you're so cute in your band T-shirt. You know you have to pay cash at the end of this, right? And I would just kind of smile and be like, yeah, yeah. And then I would, you know, write my bank check out at the end of the auction. And they're just like, did I just get beat by this 17-year-old? What just happened, right? So, long story short, the local brokers really pissed about it, and they complained to the real estate board. And the board called me in.
They said either come join us or you're out.
Or you're going to get fined. And,
Now,
you know,
wait a minute.
because it's brokering without a license. It's
Is it?
actually not legal.
Is it?
If you sell a certain volume of houses in a year, it's brokering without a license.
I have
that-
no idea about this. So
That's
Yeah.
crazy to me that
Yeah.
you can't own and sell a house.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, is that a Nevada rule?
It was a Nevada rule.
Okay, is it still a
Yeah.
Nevada rule?
You know,
It
I don't
seems
know.
like-
I haven't
'cause-
lived
She
in
got the
Nevada
hell
in
out
about
of there.
20
Because I know in
years, so-
Texas, I mean, you don't.
Yeah. It's just when you hit volume.
Yeah.
Right. And it was definitely, I mean, I was doing a commercial operation. I'm
Hell
buying
yeah.
houses,
Yeah.
I'm rehabbing them, I'm
Okay.
flipping them, I'm selling
Okay.
them for profit. So I said, sure. So I was going to UNR during the day, took a community college real estate course at night, got my license, and
Oh, so you joined them.
I did.
Beat them at their own game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So paid for college
Damn, Angela.
that way. Did a couple of years of pre-med after I graduated business school. I've always loved medicine, always been really enthralled with that. But being kind of the analytical, logical side of me came out, and I said, you know, I'm in my early 20s. I'm making more than a doctor. I have no debt. Why would I continue to do this and not
Plus you
just
had your
continue
boys,
with,
right? You had-
yes.
Okay.
I had 2 sons. Why would I continue spending money to go to med school when I already know I can have this great career?
Well, I guess my question was going to be, like, what was the drive to even finish college if you were
Yeah.
having, because honestly, I know a lot of people start their businesses in college and they don't finish college because
Yep.
they're like, at this point in time, there's no need to.
Yeah.
What was that
Yeah.
drive to finish college?
I wanted to be, and it was just a mental thing. I wanted to be a college graduate. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do that.
Did you have
it
people in your
was-
family that didn't have degrees?
You know, most of the people in my family did not have
Okay.
degrees.
Well,
So, yeah, it was
This
just that kind of personal insight and drive.
I'd love
just
to
be
hear your
different.
take on this. And we're going to go off on a tangent here. Tangent alert, minute number 34, okay? Just recently,
Yeah.
we had the Biden signed student loan.
Yep.
What do they call it? Recovery Act, Rejection Act. Basically,
Yeah.
You
I
don't
call
have
it
to
the
pay your
Debt
lo-
Escalation Act.
exactly. What is your take on this idea? So I got 2 takes on this. One, why are we forcing so many kids into college?
I agree.
Idiotic.
And I think because your stigma back then, I want to be a college graduate.
Yeah.
Like, we have forced this on so many people that you have to be a college graduate. And I think that that's done nothing except increase the number of people who are having student loans for degrees that don't mean shit.
I agree.
Yes,
Okay.
I agree.
That smells like burnt toast.
it does.
Okay. But 2, now we have all these people with student loans, and we have an administration that's saying, oh, don't worry about it. You don't have to pay it back. The taxpayers will pay back that
Right.
student loan. So what's your take on that?
Well, my take on it is, and
You don't have to be politically correct here.
I'm a little salty about it, so I'll just preface it with that. So I was a 16-year-old kid who decided that I wanted to go to school. It was my choice, my decision. I didn't ask anyone else to pay for that. Never got a Pell Grant, never got a student loan. I worked 2, 3, sometimes 4 jobs at a time. I would get up 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and I used to work for the Postal Service in Truckee, California. So I would drive from Reno, Nevada to Truckee, California.
Yep.
I would deliver mail. I had the best postmaster who would let me bust my ass, and I got my route done in about 4 hours versus your typical 8-hour day. And then from there, I would be able to get back to school and to my classes in the same day. I would finish class and I would go to my second or third job. I worked as a cocktail waitress. I worked as a professional showgirl. I've worked in a grocery store as a baker.
Are those pictures on your Instagram too?
Maybe. I don't know.
So it sounds to me like, especially someone coming from you who worked their way through school, you're probably looking at it like,
So my point with that is, if I can raise 2 kids, I can work 4 jobs at a time, I can go to school, I can maintain a 3.5 GPA through all of that, and never ask anyone else to pay for my education. Why should I pay for anyone else's education? Why should my children pay for someone else's education? Why should anyone in this room do that? I don't understand.
Well, no, that's what she said when she was dancing. She said she was in school.
Valid point.
Well,
I think that's a really valid point, and I'm salty about this too, because I think it's ridiculous.
Right.
But then you have people say, well, not everybody has that same opportunity. Not everybody had that opportunity, and I don't know. Do they not? I mean, I think they do. Like jobs exist.
Well, I look at it a little differently. I think we're encouraging people. It's kind of back in my day, is that it wasn't looked down upon, but your next step was college.
Yes. I
graduated high school in 92. So back then it wasn't, military was good, but you couldn't just go work somewhere. And I knew a buddy of mine, and I went off and did my thing in college. And by his first year of masonry work, I think he was making $68,000 a year. And back then I was like,
that's a lot of money.
Doing masonry work.
Yeah.
So even plumbers. So I think now we're on that other swing where people are working with their hands. Votex are back. But I've told my daughter, she's going to college. I mean, she's choosing to. But there was a point in time I never forced her. If she wanted to become a beautician, if she wanted to volunteer, if she wanted to do military, I think there's other options. I was forced, meaning I played baseball. Do I think I would have graduated in the time I did with the way I did if I didn't have that structure? I don't know. But I had, there was opportunity there where just all my buddies, not all, but some of my buddies who went just partied and
obviously, I think that's what happens to a lot of people. They go party through college. They don't work through college. Yep. Then they have the loan. Then they have their degree in, lesbian studies.
Nice.
And then they don't know how to use that degree and what can they do with that degree, and then it's like they got to get a job, and then it's like, how do we pay it back? And it's this whole fucking scam where the government's backing these loans, and so they're easily available, and the schools keep hiking up tuition because the cost of going keeps getting harder and harder, and it gets harder for kids to get into school. I don't know. It's a whole big thing, but thank you for sharing that, your input on that.
Tangent now.
But
no.
So you're making money. You're doing real estate. You finish college. You do some pre-med, and you're like not going to go to medical school. Yep. Like, where's your path take you from there?
That was the analytical side coming out in me, obviously built for operations. I was like, I'm already making over $100,000 a year, and in the early '90s, mid '90s, that's a lot of money.
Sure was.
So
it was,
right. Even now, it's great. Great income. And I just thought, why don't I continue to do this? So. At that time, I had met my husband, my current husband. He's my second husband. That's how old I am. And
there's nothing wrong with being married twice.
Yeah. Well, we'll leave it at 2. Second time's a charm.
Yeah.
But
not for everybody.
Third time's a charm. No, I wouldn't agree with you, Angela.
Well, after 25 years, I'm not training another one.
Well, no, I'm just, not everybody, graduates early from high school. Not everybody marries good the second time.
Not everybody kills a bunch of nil guy.
Well, no. Sorry about that.
It's all right. So, I decided that.
So when you say operations, so our audience, some people might get it and some people might not. And I'm not down. So when you say operations, what is operations?
So
Because you say you're built for operations.
Yes.
I'm like, okay.
So when I think of operations and how I would explain that to someone, it is everything that helps your business run smoothly. It's all of the accounting, the analytical, it's the management, it's the leadership,
Process,
it's the
the
process,
okay.
it's your procedures, it's your KOLs, right? These are your operations processes.
Okay.
Every business has them. Every household has
I was about to
processes
say
of operations.
everything has operations.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So when I look at operations and what I do with consulting is I walk into a practice and I'm looking at how can I help this practice, whether it's a medical or dental practice, see more patients, help them get the care that they desperately need.
There you go.
And do that in a way that does not add additional strain to their staff. We want to make the staff's day easier. And we want to also do this in a way that it's going to exponentially increase revenue.
So ROI.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking a 5 to 10 time X in revenue within 30 to 60 days. From, I'm going to come in and we're going to help. My costs, we're going to 10X that.
Your cost. I was going to
Yeah.
say, oh shit, you're going to take my whole operations 10 times, 10x. You're hired today.
Within a certain amount of time, definitely. Within
Angela
3 to
has a
5 years,
history
you can
of-
do that.
So
Yeah.
I have her on the podcast. I invited her on our podcast
Yeah.
for a reason. Yeah.
So you work with doctors, physicians, and dentists.
Yes.
And it's one company that does both?
Yes.
Okay. What's the name of your company?
MedDent.
MedDent.
MedDent Consulting. Yeah.
Why you got to put the med first?
Dent Med Dent.
D
It could
comes
go
before
either
M.
way.
Just saying. God damn it. This is why. Never mind.
Hold on. Tangent number
wait,
2.
Wait,
and
yeah,
then,
okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Please tell me, because dentists don't have egos, so I want to know why Dent should come before Med.
Do dentists not have egos?
That's got to be
Yeah.
a little
Maybe
passive
that's
aggressive.
advice. Yeah, it's okay. I don't have an ego.
Oh, shit.
So
Damn, Brandon.
I'm comfortable with my ego.
Okay, so MedDent. So
Yeah.
but that's how I met Angela. I'm not fast forwarding because I definitely want your story. So when I met her, it wasn't the usuals. And I'm going to be very careful how I say this. I was at AADSM. You can do the math. The usuals. I'm not the usual. I come in from a different field, but all these same conferences had the same people at every single one. And then I look over and I'm like, who's this, right? And so briefly getting to know her there and figuring out what she does for companies is pretty outstanding.
Well, no,
and so-
this is great. This is really good to have you here because there's a lot, and I work with dentists. I don't work with a lot of we work with physicians, but I don't personally coach physicians or consult with physicians, but I do with dentists, and so I understand this world. And we have a lot of dentist listeners, we have a lot of physician listeners,
Yep.
and a lot of them are trying to do better. They're trying to help more patients.
That's why
and they
That's
don't,
why you're in medicine.
and they don't know how.
Yep.
Okay.
So all of them, and Brandon preaches on this in past podcasts, and I'm not using you, but this is perfect, is that none of these physicians and none of these dentists had a business class,
No.
how to run their stuff.
Yeah.
Brandon comes in and does very well coaching his dental people, but I'm telling you right now, Angela, there is an opportunity out there for what you just said to streamline, to all
Yes.
operations, to get a process in place where you see more patients, where it's more effective. So
So how long have you been doing this?
Um,
MedDent. When did it start?
So I've been independently consulting since 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually started in the dental space with a company called Clear Choice Dental
Okay.
Implant
Yeah.
Centers.
Implants.
I was in the forefront, one of the early employees of that company. Worked through the leadership
Yeah.
team.
You work with
Really-
Steve? Steve Boyd?
Yep, I
Yeah.
know Steve very well.
Yeah.
Steve was on. I was actually on that same.
He's
when
a
he started.
he's a
Yeah.
good dude.
Really.
He is a good dude.
I'm telling you, the people that started that company are phenomenal people.
And
They're
phenomenally rich.
Some of the smartest minds when it comes to
He's
operational
an
structure.
operations business guy
Yes.
to the T.
Yeah.
He would fly in to meet us on his little jet. And he's flying on
Yeah.
his plane. Anyways, Steve's a good dude. So you started with Clear Choice.
Yes.
In their operations.
Yes.
Okay.
And really learn and people don't know that Clear Choice story, but this is one of the fastest growing dental support organizations out there. It was lightning in a bottle, like a rocket, and it was every day you were refining your operations, you were refining your technique, you were refining your patient process to ensure that those patients have a 5-star service from start to finish, and they could go to any clinic in the United States and receive that same level of care and service.
So they feel definitely a need and brought value.
Yes.
Well, they filled the need and they brought value, but more than that, they brought systems.
Yes.
Because they were able to McDonald's like dental implants and full mouth all on X restorations. And it's been a huge thing because I love Clear Choice because on my dental side, that's all I do.
Love them.
Is dental implants. And so it's kind of like an Inspire. They're creating so much. They're spending all the marketing dollars and they're getting plenty from it, but there's so many people out there that it increases awareness. And when you increase awareness, rising tide raises all ships kind of thing, I think.
Yes.
So what took you out? When did you leave Clear Choice?
In 2018.
Okay.
So I had worked my way up through the ranks of Clear Choice, and I had been offered a vice president's position actually here in Texas with a company called Brident. Western Dental was buying Brident and then going to buy South Texas Dental as well. And they asked me to come in and lead that transition. They had not had any leadership here in Texas prior to that. They were trying to manage from Orange, California, which could be very difficult. So I came in and did the management of the acquisition of the South Texas practices into Brident and Brident into Western Dental, and helped all of those practices solidify that relationship. So now they were all running on the same process procedure.
Awesome.
And just looking at operationally, how can we quickly make an impact and improve their operations across the entire state?
Okay. Nice. So then how'd you get into consulting? Was this just something that came out of...
Consulting is just, you start to make an impact, and the dental world is fairly small. You start to make an impact, and people start to notice that, and they start to ask you, hey, could you come to my practice and help me? Can you come to my practice and help me? And one of the things I've always negotiated in any contract that I take is that I'm not exclusive. I can work and do other things because I've always got multiple projects going in all different realms of the world. So that was very important to me. So I just love the practice consulting. I love going in and solving that issue, that problem. It's a puzzle for me every day. And so I would consult on the side.
Well, I would think also
about
consulting, in my opinion, I think consulting is also about relationships.
Definitely.
So through everything that you just walked us through, you have all these relationships.
Yes.
And so at least what I've even found in my short time in the dental space is that they're like, oh man, so-and-so, it's almost word of mouth.
Yes. Yeah.
Like reach out to Matthew, he's got this, or reach out to Brandon, so it sounds like that's pretty much the same difference.
Definitely. And I actually don't advertise my consulting business at this point.
Is consulting still your side gig, or do you have other than hunting?
Yes, we're going to get into that one.
So
I love what
I would
she's doing
say
now.
consulting is kind of my main gal, and then I've got a couple of side chicks.
Okay.
That was
So
that's how I would phrase it.
who do you want to talk about today? You want to talk about your main squeeze and your side chicks?
I don't want them to feel left out. They
I
get
wouldn't
jealous.
want to either. Yeah. They all know about each other.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Polyamorous. It's a thing these days.
Polyindustrious.
Polyamory industrious. That very very Portland of you. So hit us. What are your projects?
Can we talk? Yeah, we can talk projects. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do the consulting
MedDent.
and MedDent. Just went from, I was actually, when I met Matthew, I was consulting as COO for a DSO that's an emerging DSO, so wrote all their process, procedure, all
nice.
of their protocol.
Can you share the name?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know them.
Probably not.
Are-
Right.
Yeah.
Are there initials like?
Nope.
There are initials, but yeah. So, just got them going, got them off
Yeah.
the ground, got their processes going. I've recently just contracted with another company, Cano Health. You probably know who they are.
Cano Health?
Yep. They are really emerging into Texas. They started in Florida.
Okay.
And they're doing integrative health, which I'm really excited about.
Oh, that's
and
cool,
I'm
yeah.
really excited to bring some integrations of not just their general health care and their pharmaceutical and wellness, but I would love to bring dental into
Yeah.
Nice.
their clinics. I think
And I would
that's
love
the
to
wave
help
of the
you do
future.
that.
I gotta
Yes.
tell you, and this is just a quick shout out. If you are looking for integrative health and specifically for pain management or back pain, neck pain, spine issues,
Yeah.
there's a practice here in Austin Integrative Spine, Dr. Marcella Madera, and she's my doctor. She's a neurosurgeon, and we got to have her on the show sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
Yes.
I just went through this process. It was a 3-day process. I've been dealing with degenerative discs and vertebra and back issues for the last couple years, numbing pain down my leg and all this. It's been really, it's been a struggle for me. And I've been looking for something. And I came across, and 3 weeks ago, I went through this 3-day process with her, and we're looking at your diet, we're looking at your mind, body stuff, breath work, energy, past trauma, goals and mantras and this and
Like
that.
a diagnostic
Plus-
all the way through to his
Plus, we're looking
feelings
at
and
your
so-
structure and your
Yes.
MRI. We brought in a trainer, we brought in a chiropractor, and we had the stem cell procedure. And it was just like all this stuff together. And I felt so well taken care of. And just, and from a pain standpoint, I was at like a 6-7 every day. I'm at like a 1-2. I haven't taken
That's
an
amazing.
ibuprofen in like 3 weeks.
That's amazing.
And I can't tell you the last time I've gone 3 days without taking an ibuprofen.
Wow.
And
By ibuprofen, you mean cocaine?
and speaking of cocaine, we had a buddy on the flight to Phoenix. That's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that next episode.
let's focus on it.
But so when you mentioned integrative health, this is a really cool thing.
It
And
is.
having this
Yep.
experience that I just had, I'm just like.
But did you
know,
hear what she said? It's but she wants to bring in the
It's
dentistry? Because I agree. And the
Yep.
same thing I asked Dr. Madera is
Whole body
what's going on
health.
with sleep?
yeah.
Yes,
You know?
whole body health. It's the wave of the future, and practices that are not embracing that are going to miss out.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree.
And for me, and I think Matthew, you and I have talked about this and before, that being a connector, it's really important that we are connecting our primary care physicians with our specialty, with our dental, with our audiology, with our ophthalmology.
Yes, ma'am.
We have whole systems, and they don't run independently of each other.
Yeah.
Like your body
We work
system,
together.
right? Every cell talks to every other cell to function.
This is the downfall of American medicine, in my
Yes.
opinion, is the specialization and the segmentalization,
Yes.
compartmentalization of the different body systems.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm a heart guy. I focus on your heart, but I'm not paying attention to your gut and your,
Right.
everything else. Well, I'm a gut guy, but I'm not paying attention to your brain. I'm a brain guy, but I'm not paying attention.
Yes, yes.
And of course, none of them are paying attention to the mouth.
No.
But they all work together. They all impact each other. And you got this doctor prescribing these meds that could have a side effect on this
Yes.
section, and this doctor prescribing. So, this is,
Yes. Yeah.
you are a badass.
No, she is. She
It's
is.
to me. I've always wondered, why do we not look at the body as a whole? Why do we silo or compartmentalize when whatever happens with my optic nerve will actually can affect my heart, can affect brain function. My optic nerve can affect my liver function. So why are we not integrating whole body health care within practices? And how do we help doctors, dentists, and providers communicate with each other in a way that benefits the patient?
Yeah.
Well, I've found it just from what I do, and thank you for remembering that. In the connections and bringing everybody together, it's dropping the egos, and it's really putting that patient first. And what I find what you do in that world is needed and necessary, but it shouldn't be refreshing. I mean, we shouldn't be going, man, that's all. I mean, it should be the norm.
This should be where
Should
this
be.
is where we need to go.
Agreed.
Now we got payers and other political shit
Yes.
to deal with to get there.
Right.
But it doesn't mean we shouldn't continue to fight this fight or
Right.
push this agenda. So if we talk integrative health, I've got to imagine, and this is a great segue to sleep.
Yes.
And sleep apnea, because we can't really talk about integrative health if we're not talking about the importance of sleep.
No.
So where does sleep play into what you're doing? Why were you at AADSM?
Yeah.
Was this just looking for clients and business, or
No,
do you got
no.
a sleep
It
component
wasn't a
to
coincidence.
this?
She was meant to meet me.
That's right. Yeah. The gods came down and they say,
Speaking of ego.
yeah, you two, wild child, you guys need to meet. But actually, I was there with the company that I was helping to launch.
Okay.
So just helping them get through their first show. How do you speak to doctors? How do you explain what a DSO is? And helping them with that understanding of what does that look like? What does your next step look like?
Okay.
And I'm a lifelong learner. And for me, so I knew nothing about sleep before joining this other company as their
She was
COO.
all dental, so imagine she was
Yeah.
All dental, all just, private primary care physician, PCP type of work. I knew nothing about sleep other than my husband has a CPAP because he has sleep apnea, and I see how detrimental that can be on someone's health,
Yeah.
on their well-being, their mental and physical state. So that was the only background I had. It took me about 2 weeks of pouring through med journals and research to really come up with a good operational plan that supports sleep dentistry within a practice. And so I learned everything that I could about sleep very, very quickly, and then put that into that operational process and ready for that handoff now. So,
And
Yeah.
imagine, so
Yeah.
Angela, I assume how you tackle everything, even from the early stories you shared with us. It's so funny. Did y'all catch it too? She's like, well, I learned it. Like you
Yeah.
go to
Yeah.
sleep. She goes,
Yeah.
well, I just studied this, took it in, applied it. And you're right. You're very like this.
yes.
Take that away. You just talked about your husband wearing a CPAP and
Yes.
you really being aware of that. As someone who's health conscious, and I definitely want to talk about that with you, your bodybuilding and stuff. You meant sleep has got to be vital.
Yes.
You just talked about all those connections, right? So you sleeping. Last night you stayed in a hotel.
Yes.
How'd you sleep?
Like a baby. But that's
So you pooped all over yourself, got up at 3. What does that mean?
well, no. Like a good baby, like my sons. They were
okay.
good
They
babies.
never shit the bed. That's
no,
great.
they slept
Okay.
through the night.
Okay.
They were on a schedule. They were good kids.
Okay.
But it's funny because I'm not a good sleeper.
What do
I'm
you
an
mean?
insomniac.
Okay. Let's talk.
You might gather this, I'm that type A, brain never shuts off
Mm-hmm,
personality. I have to be very mindful to go to sleep. I have a sleep process that I have to go through to shut my brain down at night. Otherwise, I'm thinking of the 47 other projects and what I need to do the next day.
That's Brandon.
Yeah. So if I, an idea
Walk us through
pops
it.
into
Walk
my
us through it.
mind,
So-
I'll write it down so I
Okay.
don't forget
There you
it.
go.
Usually it goes in my, your notes. And then,
What time do you go to bed?
so I generally try to start going to bed. I actually go to bed fairly early. I'll go in and start my routine about 9.
Okay.
And I don't watch TV. I've never had a television in my bedroom. So
Got it. Love it.
There's no reason to have
Yeah.
TV in your room, but I read.
Yeah.
So I'll go in and, you do your kind of bedtime routine, and then I'll read for 30 to 45 minutes, kind of get my eyes tired.
Got it.
And then you just very mindfully shut down those processes.
Love it.
Go through a mental checklist of this is what I'm going to accomplish tomorrow,
Got it.
so that I don't worry about what I need to accomplish
Okay.
the next
Because you've
day.
already put it out
already
That's
put it
tomorrow.
out there. This
Yep.
is tomorrow. This is what I'm going to do. And then I kind of go through a physical shutdown checklist as well, you know, and like relax.
Well, I usually shut down emotionally first when I'm in bed.
So,
A lot of shame there.
do you do any supplements, any nighttime like vitamins or supplements or anything like that?
No, I do take vitamins and supplements. Obviously, I'm a chronic migraine person, so I actually take a lot of magnesium.
Oh, shit.
And
Okay.
potassium, which
Yeah.
I think helps.
Yeah, totally.
With
Magnesium helps with sleep
regulating
too.
I've tried things like melatonin. Absolutely no effect on
Not a
me.
fan of the melatonin.
Jim
At
Beam
all.
works
Yeah, Jim Beam.
Except you're gonna wake up like
Yeah.
3 hours
Not me.
later.
I mean, I just
Well,
slept
yeah,
in.
but you're gonna get up that time of the
I
anyway.
do. But I go to bed
You're 4
early.
a.m.,
I go
right?
to bed early. You're right.
So
So we have this supplement, and Jason Crawford from Sovereignty was on our show. It's called Dream Plus,
yes,
and this stuff is really good. It's not a put you to sleep like a drug puts you to sleep medicine.
right.
It's got the magnesium and the that stuff. It's got a lot of the herbs. It's got some CBD. It's got the holy basil and the theanine, the L-theanine, and some of these other things.
Yeah.
But very small, micro dose of melatonin, and it's a calming effect. And so
Jenny uses it.
I love it. Jenny uses it every night. I'm trying a new one recently. I've been using this for a couple months, and it really, really helps. So we got a lot of.
And Dan in his backpack has these thing called gummies.
Yeah.
And they got them off the street, and they're great.
He was in Denver.
They put you.
picked up a pound.
No, here in Austin. They look like little starfish.
Yeah, starfish.
So we got that too.
Yeah, that works too.
No, I'm messing. But no, that's good. So hold on. You are ahead of the game. So I want to give you some credit. Brandon and I speak to a lot of people. And if they listen to our podcast, they know Brandon, you are a lot alike. Like he said, so he has this checklist. Me, especially during Sober October, I have a very specific checklist, but normally I don't.
Yeah.
I just like to be in bed by 8, meaning in bed, and then I got to get up at 4 every morning. So I've got to get that 7.5. That's that sweet average of sleep for me to be me, right? And I have not mastered. I've almost hacked it because I sleep in a hotel almost every night.
Yes.
So I do think there's I hear people always say, it's got to be tough to travel and all that. No, if that's your norm. But I think what's awesome is that knowing that, again, going back to your, I learned how to do that is two different things, right?
Yes.
So when you're dealing with operations in that company going, this is how we need to implement sleep versus your personal life, did learning those 2 weeks even make it more magnified that your husband's CPAP and you need this, or was it just this is business, this is personal?
No, and obviously I always want him to be as healthy as possible, and it's always been a concern for me. But then learning some of those additional impacts on full systems, as we were speaking about earlier, that I did not know previously, and how detrimental sleep apnea can be on the whole body and the whole system, really just drove that home that this is something that we need to make sure we stay on top of every day to keep you as healthy as possible.
Well, I'll throw
for
it
the
out
long
there.
term.
I don't know what your husband's AHI is. I don't know what pressures he's on.
Yeah.
But obviously, you just had dinner with someone last night.
Yes.
Introducing to the world of oral devices has got to be for someone who hunts
Yeah.
and travels and does those things.
Yes.
I'm not selling you. I just think that probably opened your eyes because you were at AADSM.
Definitely.
Okay.
Had no idea. Before I started in the world of sleep, I had no idea that apnea could be treated so successfully for so many patients through an oral device.
Yep.
And you're right. We're very adventurous. It's nothing for us to take a plane and be dropped off in the middle of Alaska
That's what I'm
with
saying.
no
You
source
put
of
this in your pocket. You
communication
can put these
for
in your-
weeks at a time,
Yeah.
right? And there's no electricity,
Yeah.
none of that. So obviously you're not able to take a CPAP with you, but at the same time, you're you're doing a lot of physical exertion throughout the day, and you need
You need
be
to
able
sleep to
breathe.
recovery.
You need to sleep to recover. The only
Yeah.
time our bodies truly recover is during
Well, I
sleep.
gotta kind of jump ahead because I'm so excited about this, and I know we're running low on time. So, I meet Angela. She
Yeah.
transitions out of that role, and
Yep.
she reached out to me. And one of the things that really have been aware of, and Dan, I definitely want Dan's input on this because he's younger and he knows, but what you've done to transform social media for you and kind of your brand. I'm big on brand. I love reading books about how we brand ourselves and all that. And so talk a little bit about your new e-commerce business and how that just went, because I definitely want to plug the company.
Yeah.
But then also what you do. Like, guys, I want you to follow her after this show you watch, because like she's all like this now. But her social media, I mean, she is country, and like she lifts weights and she dances and she does all this cool stuff, and it's uplifting, it's motivational. So yes,
Just have fun.
I love it. So talk about the e-commerce and how we talked about it, about a whole drive one day. I was like, this is what I'm thinking, and blah, blah, blah. So go ahead.
So e-commerce came about because one of the things that I preach consistently to every practice is you need to have retail within your practice. You are losing hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue every year that you do not have retail within your practice. When a doctor gives a recommendation for a product to their patient, and the patient could walk into the lobby, and during their checkout, your front desk person hands them that product and they charge it right there, you're going to have 100%, 90% acceptance rate. When you prescribe a product or recommend a product and now your patient has to go find it, you're going to have a less than 30%
of them actually go do it.
Yes.
There's a difference between go buy a Sonicare toothbrush and go buy a Sonicare toothbrush and here's your Sonicare.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect example.
Now, there's a question though, and I'd love your intake on this because I'm sure you've researched it in terms of certain state boards and maybe the state I live in, maybe not, and their terms of their regulations when it comes to prescriptions specifically. So like, for example, an extra strength fluoride toothpaste.
Right.
What's your take on how you read those?
You said retail. Well, I guess that would be.
Well, to me, that's retail.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the pharmacy board might say, well, no, that's a pharmaceutical.
Yes.
Right.
So
But
prescription
you can't get every prescription at a pharmacy either.
No.
Right.
So I like CTX4 products is what I'm going to.
Chlorhexidine, right? You're going to prescribe that.
Correct. And it's so much easier if I can give it to my patients there in the
Right
practice.
there. So, and every state is going to be different.
And actually, I hate chlorhexidine. I wish you would never sell it again or use any with your dentist.
But-
Look at John Coyce's research. That's all I'm saying. There's better products out
All
there.
right,
We can talk about that in a minute.
Yes. Now back to the show.
But no. You're going to prescribe it. You're going to use it. So, but what's the interpretation, or how do you get around the state board?
So you're never going to get around a state board rule. One, I always
don't
advocate.
ever try
No, don't
to
ever
get
even
around,
try
even
to do
saying
that.
Yes.
But
Cut that part out.
do follow the guideline and recommendation
Right.
and take that to the max that you can.
Right.
So if your board says, okay, you can prescribe and distribute X, Y, and Z within your practice and within your scope of license, do that. On the other hand, retail is wide open, and we all have things. You have a supplement that you would like to sell within your practice. We all have
Hats,
things that are
t-shirts.
unregulated that we should be selling. And that's where I'll come back to the e-commerce and the retail. I have been preaching this for years because I know the value, but I had never actually had a retail business.
Yeah.
I had never run an e-commerce website. So in July, I decided that I would start one.
It's awesome.
And so,
I've never done it. Just start it.
No, watch this. This
So what are
is
you
awesome.
selling?
so I built a website in late June. It took me about a week. I built out just a really awesome, it's an awesome site. It's really good.
It is.
I like it. And I do kind of a cowgirl chic, Western,
I was gonna say women's
gypsy
apparel.
type
Yeah.
women's apparel. It's how I dress.
Okay.
It's how I am, and I found that in that kind of country girl lifestyle, it's just very, very popular things.
Give the name.
The store is Oak and Honey.
Oak and honey.
Oak and Honey, A&D spelled
A&D,
out.
yeah.
And we're at oakandhoney.net is our website.
Okay.
And I honestly cannot believe how incredibly successful it has been. Starting from July through October, we were in the black in the first 30 days.
That's phenomenal.
Yes.
Oh no, her numbers were crazy.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
would do like cool like live.
So now
Instagram
you're
feeds and
buying and piecing together and selling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have curated items from all over the world.
Yeah.
That I think just fit within that aesthetic,
Mm-hmm.
this kind of cowgirl chic, Western lifestyle aesthetic.
Yep.
And when I'm in, I'm all in. I jump all in on everything I
Yeah.
do. And so within 3 weeks, I had curated, I probably have a couple of hundred different items just from all over the world that I've worked with the wholesalers and I've worked with the manufacturers. We put it all on the site. Just fun stuff.
Yeah.
And unbelievable how fast it took off. Did not have any type of a social media presence.
No.
Obviously, it was
I
a
even
brand
asked her, I
new
go,
project.
who's doing all your video? And she goes, either me or my husband.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Does the
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to listen, Dan, you might have a gig. And I go, oh my gosh, they're great. Like they're good.
So
like,
I got a question. This is my marketing idea.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Yeah.
this is what she does for a living.
My practice down south.
Do we have to
my-
pay you for
my
this?
dental practice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can bill me. Is Hedgecock Dental.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always thinking it'd be great to have a T-shirt that we could give patients or they could buy. That's like, I opened my mouth for Hedgecock. No.
I think that in some markets we could make that work.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah. Some patient demographic and population,
Yeah.
we can make it work.
Okay.
You might have to get a, kind of snazzy logo on there,
Yeah, with a rainbow.
like a rooster.
You know
A
what,
rooster.
Brandon?
Oh, a rooster.
Yeah.
I like the rooster
You know what,
idea.
Brandon?
I like the rooster idea.
Little topiary
Okay,
rooster.
we'll
the
work
hedgehog.
with this now.
Who has two thumbs and loves you?
So I think we're gonna rebrand actually.
Well, yeah, I don't know if
That
that's
is
what-
something I do recommend all of my practice owners. Don't
Yeah.
name your practice after yourself.
Yeah,
Because
no.
when you
Yeah.
go to
It's-
sell that
it's-
practice upon retirement.
I realized that
Yeah.
very quickly. This
Well,
was my
but you
first
have-
practice. My
Brandon
other
has
practices
many, yeah.
are absolutely
Yeah.
different brands.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
So one of them's asshole dental.
Oh,
which will never
Jesus.
go. The other one is. No, I'm just kidding. But back to her. So she starts this out. So we're talking probably August.
Yeah.
And you were like giving me your numbers. I was like,
Yep.
oh my gosh, this is amazing. And
Yeah.
so it's not that she did it on a shoestring budget. I think it goes back to your analytical brain. You were like, okay, if I do this,
Yeah.
this, hit the math. So she was doing like live Instagram or live. I apologize. I don't
Yeah.
know all this stuff. And like, I went on one day because I want to support my friend, and these boots, and y'all know I wear a country, like they're beautiful and they are selling and they're selling out because
Yeah.
she gives this, what I love is, you call it cowgirl chic, but it's one of ones or
Yeah.
one of fives.
Yeah.
So these ladies and men went buy it because you can't find them
There's
anywhere.
only so many of them.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's great.
Yeah.
It's
and
just,
it's been a fun ride. Obviously, it's a business that doesn't take a huge amount of my time, and
hell of a
I
side
didn't want to
hustle.
be
Jesus.
hypocritical. I'm telling these docs all the time, you've got to have retail. You've got to have retail.
Yep.
So I am a learner by doing, and I just did. And I'm like, all right, guys, if I can do this, and it took me this amount of time, I
Yeah.
can help you do it as well. And we can do it quickly, we can do it efficiently, and we can get that revenue coming in, that side revenue for your practice.
Now you think that the average physician with retail
Yeah.
or dentist with retail, do you think it's different, physician or dentist, or does
No,
it matter? And
doesn't
you
matter.
said $100,000
You could do $100,000 in retail in a year easily.
easy.
Yeah.
That's
Easily.
those are high numbers.
I love
Yeah.
your face. I love your face.
Yeah.
Love-
It's a lot.
Well,
That's a lot. We just said that was a lot of money.
and you have
way
the
back in
system
day.
for this.
yeah.
Yeah, man. I think if it's proven, which I believe
Mm-hmm.
you have, or you have before, I mean, I don't think of retail whenever I go to a physician or to a dentist, just because I'm already selling something usually when I go there, right?
Right.
But you're right. I think if it was easily accepted, your example was excellent, by the way. Sonicare toothbrush.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
I leave there and you guys tell me to get one, I'm like, but if it's right there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to buy it.
Well, and if you just make it $10 cheaper and you get it at Walmart or Amazon or whatever the case is, then it's a no-brainer for
Right.
patients.
So the future for you, Angela, is Oak and Honey.
Yes.
You know, I love your personal social media stuff. I love what you're doing there. I believe it ties in to Oak and Honey
It does.
completely. Just your lifestyle, who you are, what you and your husband do. What's the future like for you? I mean, you're kind of a free agent, right? No, you said you're currently working on something right now.
Yeah,
correct?
I just did a consulting contract with Cano Health. So,
Okay.
yeah, but that is, I am a free agent, obviously. You know, I'm open to do whatever I need to do. I consult
Can
with
they reach
many
you through Oak and
patients.
Honey? Is that the best way, or should we give some personal, like whenever
yeah.
we do this episode, we'll put your stuff down,
Yeah,
whatever you want us
obviously, if you're going to reach out on social media, my Instagram and
Watch this.
TikTok
What's it
are the
called?
best. They're Doe in the Wild.
to. It's so
DOE
DOE,
underscore
yep.
IN underscore THE underscore
Yep.
WILD. So
Yep.
Doe in the Wild. Um,
Get some lifting tips.
and it is been a fun ride. So Instagram, I did years ago a lot of conservation work with Instagram.
Grip and grin. That's
yeah,
what I saw.
yeah. I do some partner endorsement and partnerships with different hunting companies. So I'm on their
Yeah.
pro staffs, and so Instagram was real natural to me. But just started TikTok and had not had one of those before. Started that in like June, July, the same time frame. I can't believe how fast that following is building up. I'm just under
I can.
just under 10,000 right now. Hope to break
Jeez.
that 10,000 follower
Yeah.
mark. And I'm pretty sporadic with it. So
I know. I
people-
jump you. I get
Yeah.
on you. I do.
I know. I'll do, like, the last thing I posted was like a video of my dog. It's been over a week ago.
How beautiful is that old dog?
Oh, isn't he the sweetest boy? Yeah. But it's the stuff like that. Those are semi-viral videos.
Yeah.
So that your following goes really quickly. But what I do is I cross-pollinate. It's much harder to build a commercial social media following. So I cross-pollinate between that personal following, which I have a lot more leeway.
Yep.
And I can get away with a lot more on there.
So the
And
example I
then-
gave her was TP.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when we were talking early on, I said the one regret she has, she had I don't know how many followers. You know, Sleep Better NYC was killing it.
Yeah.
And then she literally just went, now I'm a sleep coach. Let's keep it like,
Yes.
and it just went like you have to make a decision. And as a beautiful woman, very intelligent, but you have to make that decision.
Yeah.
And TP was like, gosh, I wish I would have kept this over here
Mm-hmm.
and then started this, but crossed. So I told her,
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing here and it'll
Yeah.
bleed into.
Yeah.
But hell, I guess I consulted you. But let it bleed in, because you will keep, those followers will just trickle over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And follow you
Yeah.
as the brand. But man, Angela and I have had mostly a phone relationship
Yeah.
since that time. But I said, man, what a perfect person to have on this podcast. We got the dental and physician operationals. She does the social media thing. I mean, she has a wealth of experience. And so I think the one thing that's going to stay with me, though, is that I'm with you, that retail.
Yeah.
100,000.
Retail.
Yeah.
100,000 in retail.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
that and your horrible idea about
Well,
the shirt. But
Well, I love your story. I appreciate you coming on today and sharing. It's very inspiring to me to talk to people like you that are such go-getters. Because and that's what's been fun about this podcast too.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes it's kind of lonely when you're the only go-getter in the room, and you
Well,
know, it's like,
And let me say this. My joke is this, is that Brandon is one of these introverts, and he gives the best example, and it's kind of a compliment to me. If me and Brandon walk into a bar, Brandon will sit in that corner unless he truly knows somebody or let people
Yes.
come to him. I'm the type of person that I will go and do this.
Yeah.
So why we started the podcast. We just bring people to Brandon. We just bring all different personality types, people he would never meet on Messenger.
Brandon and I are so like, I am extremely introverted.
I know, that
and
shocked
I'm
me.
extremely shy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
People
know.
like,
I don't like we went to the Psalm Summit and we go to the little Thursday night dinner and there's a bunch of people there I don't know, and so I'm like, oh, I know Matthew. Let me go say hi to Matthew. Check
Right.
in. 10 minutes later, I'm like, yeah, I think I made my presence. I'm gonna go up to the room now.
That's
Right.
him.
Matthew's like 2 a.m. at the bar, closing down.
I have
with
no idea what
everybody
you're
there,
talking about. Those
and
rumors.
wants to meet everybody and
That's true.
talk to everybody,
Yep.
and so it's hard, but it's always very inspiring to meet people like you, and I think.
Thank you.
It's so neat because for me the impact that we're able to have in becomes exponential when we're consulting, because if we're able to help X number of physicians, X number of dentists that are able to help
Yes.
that many more team members and patients, then that's where we're having that exponential impact. And so, I love the work that you're doing. If dentists or physicians, do you still work with dentists and physicians?
Yes.
And they can find you. You have a website, MedDent.
Yeah. LinkedIn is generally
LinkedIn?
the best place.
Okay.
Find me on LinkedIn.
And we'll put all of it on
Yeah,
our-
Okay.
It's right there, and message me there. Most of my consulting work now comes through word of mouth. So, if anyone hears this or sees this and they would like information regarding that, just when you send me a message, just say, hey, we heard you on the podcast,
Yeah. There you
and we'd like to learn more about
Awesome.
that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story and being inspiring today.
Yeah, Angela.
And wish you the best of luck.
And Angela, bring up your water.
got
And it's sober October for me.
Sober October. Water.
Thank you for
Coffee.
Thank you for
Cheers.
sleeping around with Dr. Brandon.
I'm
and
Brandon.
Matthew.
You're Matthew.
I told you I needed to start drinking. Thank you.
I'm Angela.
When the sun goes down and the moon is high, we'll be chasing stars.